more to the under the hood part of the segment. Start asking questions, man. Let's see how we can help you out.
So just a little bit more background. So when I bought this business, it's 100% off Amazon. There was an Amazon account. It had not been used in years. That there was like $12 still sitting in there waiting to be
Okay.
dispersed for for
Nice.
years. And all the products had long since gone out of stock. But there was a larger drop ship component than I realized. So we carry a couple thousand different SKUs in stock keeping units, and some of those are variants, different sizes, different colors, things like that. But there's a lot of larger products or less frequently sold products that were drop shipped, and that was another issue coming in there with all the supply chain issues. We had orders from as far back as February or March that were still waiting to be fulfilled.
It was like
Somebody
it's drop
orders a
ship orders.
statue. Yeah, they
Gotcha.
ordered a statue and it had to be shipped from Italy, and they were still waiting on it months later. So we had a lot of the customer service issues with that at the beginning. So it's probably about 20-25% of the business is drop ship, and the rest is in stock.
Okay.
So I kind of came up with 5 different expansion ideas when I was going through the business plan, but I realized I probably only have the bandwidth to do 1 or maybe 2 of those. So that's where I was kind of hoping to get your advice and an outside view of which ones are the ones that make sense to focus on.
Okay.
So the first
Let's go through
one
'em.
is expanding onto Amazon. A lot of the products we sell are purchased from suppliers that there's a dozen other people purchasing from them, so we don't necessarily have any greater pricing power, and it's whoever's willing to accept the lowest margin. But I've definitely found some products already. We have some books that we can buy for $1 or $2 that are selling for $20 on Amazon.
Okay.
Not sustainable in the long run, but there are definitely some products we sell that I think could do well on Amazon, including some of the private label type things we have, the handful of products we've developed in-house. I'm a little leery of going the FBA route, especially at the beginning with the Christmas season, getting things checked in. But I don't really have any experience doing fulfilled by merchant and just figuring out the pricing and free shipping and which products to put in there and how much effort to put into that to potentially list hundreds of different products, that might only sell a handful a month each.
Let me, I guess maybe talk a little bit about Amazon before we go down, because I'm looking at you. You had kind of pre-submitted the list of 5 things, and I feel like we can I'll forget what I wanted to say about Amazon. So first and foremost, just be aware that books specifically, if it's already listed on Amazon as a book, et cetera, they do have a higher fee. They have a second final value fee, I think of like $2 or something in that range. We ran into this with Color It. And so just be aware that there are higher fees. There's a few different ways to approach this Amazon thing. It's like maybe it's in stages. Maybe it's you do right now what you don't want to do later. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that in business and in life. If you're in a position where you just want to make some extra cash and just kind of get the train rolling along, there's a lot that could be said for just hopping right on all the listings that already exist. In terms of things you can do with very little time, selling on an existing listing on Amazon is literally seconds. You go in, you type in the ASIN that already exists, it's in your account. You can decide if it's going to be fulfilled by merchant or fulfilled by Amazon, and you're done. And if it's FBA, then you do have to get the inventory in there. You're not the one creating the listing. You're not the one adding back-end keywords. You're not creating the imagery or the bullet points or any of that stuff that takes up all the time. You can be going really, really quickly. The disadvantages of this are, as you said, if there's multiple people selling it, and you're not going to ever have 100% of the pie. If it's stuff that does not have MAP pricing, minimum advertised price set by the manufacturer, then it can be a race to the bottom. It can be tough to scratch any coin together. But if people are adhering to MAP or adhering to some reasonable margin pricing, there could be a good opportunity there to just start unloading a bunch of products, into Amazon. Unloading is not the right word, but just sending stuff into Amazon and seeing how it goes. again, super quick. I mean, we're talking, from zero to done one day. You can have, even though you don't even know how to use the Amazon account yet, you could be up and running with that in no time. We even have like a free course on Ecom Crew that shows you how to do that. And then our other FBA course, since you're doing the podcast with us, I can just give you that course for free. It's our beginners FBA course. I think it's a good way to like learn how to deal with Amazon, because there's steps that you kind of are going to go through, because it can be somewhat complicated to start with. And so these steps would at least educate you on how to get inventory in Amazon, how to get, your own ASINs, FNSKUs on the product, and label everything, and start shipping it into Amazon, seeing the sales happen, seeing the money come into your account, understanding like how all that's working. And I think that's not a bad thing.
So, I mean, I do have experience on Amazon. I've been running another FBA business for a few years. And that one is a reseller model, but I have created some of the listings for adding brand new products there.
Okay.
I guess I'm mostly concerned with, for instance, books. I mean, we have some books that we've got 10 sitting on a shelf, and it sells maybe 2 or 3 a year through our website. So I figured, well, if I put that one on Amazon as well, I'm not really taking any risk if I just do it fulfilled by merchant. If it sells, ship it out like anything else.
Yeah.
Some of it I'm just not really used to all the shipping settings, and am I gonna? I know Amazon gets a lot more particular about how quickly you ship things out, or if our inventory count is off, and somebody orders 6 off the website yesterday, they order 5 off Amazon tomorrow, and we say, oh, sorry, we only have 4 left in stock. Amazon doesn't like that answer very much. So.
No, it definitely is not the result you want to have. Obviously, with Amazon, they want you to ship things out the same day. And in terms of settings, there's a shipping settings page within your FBA settings, or your Amazon Seller Central account settings, that isn't that overwhelmingly complicated. You just want to make sure that you have everything set to like 5 to 7 day shipping, and nothing that's like in that 2 to 3 day window. That way you can ship things out first class. You always want to make sure you're using tracking when you do ship out, and make sure that you have the ability to get out quickly. There is software that can help with exactly what you're talking about, that will sync inventory that you have in stock and then update Shopify or whatever system you're using.
Yeah, that's another issue that I definitely want to bring up, is we're not on Shopify, and the platform we're on is rather old, and the inventory is just not a good inventory tracking system. We're constantly having to deal with issues with that, and it makes reordering a very long, tedious process with lots of spreadsheets and lots of manual labor to figure out how much has something been selling, how much do we actually have in stock, how much should we reorder? And oh, by the way, is our cost of goods sold accurate in our software, which I'm finding that it's not. So
I mean, that might
working with our bookkeeper on that, but
that might be one of the first places to start, just in terms of, I know it's exciting to think about expansion and all these things, but one of the things I've learned the hard way from years of doing business and just jumping right into stuff, like you're just going to make whatever problems you have worse, right? So if you can build your house, get a good foundation, spend another 3 months doing that. I mean, we're going through a pretty crazy part of the year anyway. This is probably not the time of the year to just turn the fire hose on even harder. So, we're recording this in early November, December, obviously just crazy times of the year. January feels like a good time. February feels like a good time to like start launching new products and trying new things. And maybe in the meantime, you figure out your inventory management system, potentially switch to Shopify if that's in the cards. I'm not necessarily advocating exactly for that, but getting on a platform where you're not constantly frustrated, and it makes all these things easier. What's going to happen is, I mean, if you have dreams of scaling the business from where it's at to 5x from where it's at, those problems that you have, those underlying problems, become more than a 5x problem. Like they're like a 25x problem, because it gets to the point where a human can't figure it out any longer. You just get frustrated, give up. The whole system kind of like falls apart and breaks down. And so it's better to kind of fix those things now. That's why when we took over the new business that we did switch to Shopify right away and made a couple other changes to help us, with the way that we were doing business already and making sure that it was going to be easier for us to keep the train on the tracks as we were trying to grow. And now that we're growing, nothing breaks down. We aren't having any system problems, and that's important.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the things. So I had originally looked at switching to Shopify and had kind of planned that, okay, that definitely was not going to happen in the first 6 months. That's probably our business has kind of two peak seasons. We have Q4 like everybody else, Christmas time.
Right.
But we actually have a slightly larger seasonal peak in Q2 around
For Easter. Yeah, I figured. Yeah.
And so my original plan was after Christmas, start trying to do the Shopify transition, start building it out in the slower Q1, and then actually implement it probably June, July timeframe.
That sounds about right. I think that when you're talking about I remember thousands of SKUs.
Yeah.
This takes time. We only had hundreds of SKUs, and it takes time. And in the process, as we were switching from the old platform to Shopify, we were also taking new photography for all the products, adding new descriptions and more robust descriptions. What was there was basically like stock type photography and descriptions. And in order to rank for this stuff, it just needs to be more robust. And so we took the time to take all new photography. We obviously also use those images for Amazon, and which is where the bulk of our business is, and also wrote a little bit better description. Now we're going to go back through and improve that even more, because now we're getting even more traction with the website, and just because Google loves the type of work that we've done, right? So it's really exploding in traffic, and so I think that you can do the same, but it's a massive undertaking. When you're talking about tens of thousands of products, you're going to need to hire someone to help with that.